Hey everybody, my class was canceled, so I figured I could do another video today. While I'm baking bread, it's like wintry feeling here in Sweden, so I'm baking some bread, and I figured I could do another video. This time I figured I could talk about the Swedish school system and how that works and how you pay for it. I'm not really sure if you're like an exchange student, how that goes. But I can just talk about my experiences here that I've went through here in Sweden, and a little bit of what I've read and learned from other Swedish people. Anyways, so here they have dagis, which is called förskolan, which is like daycare they have in the United States. And the way that it works here is once your child is born, they get like a personal number, like a social security number, and that is like the most important time because it can be kind of a long waiting list. So you want to put them on maybe a few different schools in your area, or like the waiting list. You can pick it like I think you can pick like 5 or 6 or whatever, and you can rate them from this is what I really want to this is like the least of what I want. So they're going to try to get you in the first few, of course. So you put your child on the waiting list for day school, preschool, or whatever, dagis. And then you have to have a pusher number, which is social security number. You have to have that in order to do that. So they have to be born. You can't, I don't think you can do it while you're pregnant. You have to wait until they're born to do it. And then you just sit and wait. They have to be a year old. So you have to wait a year. Once they turn a year, then they can start dagis preschool. Yeah, they try to get you the first one that you apply for. If you apply for several, or if you just apply for one, they try to get you close to your house, whatever's easiest for you. I think there's like probably a comment box that you can type to and come in contact with them and things like that. So when my son had turned 1, we got him into a school close to the house. It was really nice. You didn't go and see the school beforehand. I don't know if you do that in America. For some reason I thought you did. But here you don't do that. You don't go and see the school. So the teacher said, can I come to the house and meet your son? And just kind of sit with you guys for a little while and just kind of, so he gets used to me. And I was absolutely sure. So she came over and she sat with my son and I for probably, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. Talking to him, talking to me, mainly just kind of trying to get him used to, because it was his first time. Used to her and see how he was and whatnot. And then they do this thing called in-schooling, and it can be either whichever parent wants to do it. It's generally in the beginning 2 weeks, so you in-school them. So you go to school, preschool with them every single day, and then they taper it off. Once that 2 weeks is kind of getting to the end, they kind of like push you out and so that the child can get used to the school. So for the first, couple days, of course, you go with them, you sit with them, you're there a couple hours, maybe an hour at first, and then 2 hours, and then maybe you'll leave for 10 minutes and then come back, and they just try to see how it's going to work with the child. That's when you can bring, they don't provide diapers, so you have to bring your own diapers. You gotta get the little cubby where you can put their extra clothes and their diapers, and my son had a milk allergy, so I had to get a slip from the doctor telling them so they wouldn't feed him anything with dairy. And then you eat lunch with them one day, and you kind of see how it goes, and it's interesting. So you do that for about 2 weeks. Of course. If it's a little tougher for the child, it might take a little bit more time, maybe longer than 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. If it's really good for the child, and they seem to be doing really well, then maybe it won't take as long. I know the second time we unschooled him, it only took a week because he was so used to it, and he's very friendly and whatever, so it was simple. And my husband did it the second time because I've been in school. And so that's how it works. So for that, and how you pay for that is when a child is born in Sweden, like a Swedish citizen or whatever, a Swedish child, they receive, it's called a bidrag. It's like they receive money every month until I believe they turn 18 years old, maybe 19. I think it's 18. So they receive, I want to say like around 150 USD a month, just for, it can go towards diapers, it can go towards whatever. As they get older, you can give it to them for some money so they have some money to buy snacks or whatever they want to do with it. It's their money. But when they're younger, you can use that to pay for preschool, pay for dagis. We are at the cap because of the, so depending on how much money you make, it doesn't take much. You get, set at different amounts. If you don't have a job, then maybe you only pay $13 a month for preschool. But if you have a job, one of the parents has a job, then you're probably going to pay the full amount. Both parents have a job, you're definitely paying the full amount. The full amount is about 130 USD a month, and that is 5 days a week for school. However many hours you need them there. You do have to have proof that you have a job. You can't just drop them off and then go home. I go to school, so it works out that way. And they know, just be honest, be upfront, and my husband works, so, and when we both had jobs, we just told them, and then they, sometimes they'll ask for proof or whatever, but it's, not, I think they asked for proof because I was an immigrant, but anyways, so yeah, it's, about 130 USD a month, and that includes their snacks. They get breakfast, they get fruit, then they get lunch, and then they get mellanmål, which is like middle between lunch and dinner. It's like a sandwich and maybe some Jello or something like that. Not Jello, we don't have it, but I mean something along those lines. It's like a bigger snack than fruit, and they'll get that then too, and then they go home or whatever after whatever you pick them up. So it's extremely affordable compared to the United States, but then again, it's the taxes that we pay that makes it so affordable. As the child gets older and maybe they don't need diapers anymore, or they're getting older, that amount of 130 USD goes down, goes lower and lower and lower. Then once they start actual like grade school, kindergarten, then you don't pay anymore. You get to keep that money. You can put it in a fund for them. You can use it for clothes. You can use it for trips. You can, whatever you want to do with it. And then once they start grade school, like elementary school that we have in the United States, food is included, lunch is included, breakfast. Oh, they might do breakfast. I'm not sure if they do breakfast. You can correct me. I'm not sure, but I know lunch they do have here in Sweden. Pretty sure they have breakfast too. And the kids don't pay for it because they go to school. It's out of the taxes. It's a very good lunch. It's not like frozen fish sticks and shit like we have in the United States. It's like salads and hearty meals, like home-cooked meals. It's really good. And after grade school, they'll go on further and further. As they get into high school, the lunch is still free. If they decide like, oh, I don't like that meal today, they can, of course, take that, money that they receive once a month. That's going to come in your name, of course, until they turn 18. And go buy a kebab rula or a sandwich or a piece of pizza. I don't know, something like that. But they don't have to because lunch is free. So that's really really nice. They're really refreshing and reassuring that you don't have to worry about making lunch in the morning, sending them with lunch, buying lunch. It's all provided for them. I'm baking bread, like I said, so I don't want it to burn, so that's why I keep looking at it. As you go into, for example, I'm in Folkhögskolan, which is like an utbildning, which is like a technical college. And I go there for vårdbiträde, which is like a caregiver, as well as I'm going to start undersköterska, which is like nursing as well. So it's like a combination or whatever. And then there, like I had talked in one of my previous videos, there you have to take out CSN or pay for it yourself. And you also get CSN as student aid. And you're not paying for school, you're paying for books and housing and food, whatever you want. There, they have lunch and breakfast and dinner because some people live on campus. But there you have to pay for it. You can buy like a monthly card for a discount. Say you buy the monthly card, it's like maybe $70 a month. And then that's lunch every day. But if you just buy it one a day at my school, it's $7 for lunch, $4 for breakfast, and I think $5 for dinner or something like that. And it's a buffet. And there's a chef. He's like running around making sure everything's, looking good. Fresh baked breads. They only do dessert once a week. Big bowls of fruit you can take with you. Coffee, tea, milk, juice. Some of the examples of the foods, they'll have like pork chops, or it's all made by a chef, so he's like running around, you know what I mean, just like refilling things and making sure everything looks good. There's a salad bar. So it's pretty good. I've had it a couple times. It was really tasty. And then I don't have experience in college, university here in Sweden, so that I can't really talk too much about. I know that if you're going to go to university in Sweden, you have to have Swedish 6. So when you go to, for example, like SFI, which is Swedish for immigrants, it's usually what you attend when you first come to Sweden. They'll start teaching you Swedish. You learn the ground basic Swedish, what they learn in like elementary, maybe middle school. Then once you want to go to university, you have to continue, and you'll have like Swedish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in order to go to university, I believe you have to have Swedish 6 finished. I'm going to Folkhögskolan, so I'm taking Swedish 1 and 2 now. And then if I want to continue, I can do, I think, 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6 if I want to go. You can also test in, test out as well. So, to see where you're at. So those are the little differences about school and college and university. If you're going to school like I am, you can apply for a discount card to ride the buses and the trains, which is a really big discount, and it really, really helps. You just have to be registered as a student. Once they know you're registered as a student, like in the system, then you can receive the discount for buses and trains, because they don't have like school buses here. They only use those for like trips and stuff. So that was my little video on school. If you have any questions or comments, leave them and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Again, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.